I've done videos about the Ravens offense for a couple of weeks now. I've done videos on formations. I've done videos on certain players. Another thing that I'm going to try to transition to or move toward in some cases is looking at a concept and then showing plays and how teams defended particular concepts. So the one that I'm going to focus on today is QB counter read, or what a lot of people call bash. So I'm going to show the plays here in a moment, but I'm going to show the data first. So the data set that I have, I think is 11 plays, and it's going to go in the order that you see here. So the first formation, flex. If you see the fourth column from the left, flex is a 2x2 set, or what I call flex is a 2x2 set with the back on one side or the other. And so you can see there is some tendency in terms of third down for where the Ravens run this. Four of these plays are third down. Now that top one, this first play that says flex, it mistakenly says 2nd and 2. It's actually a 4th and 2. So this is a go-to play for the Ravens with Lamar. It's kind of like a cheat code, really. I mean, when they get 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, they're able to run this and get the first down because of his athleticism, but also because they are so tendency based in terms of when they line up. When they put the back on the same side as the Y, or the tight end, and it's 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, or in this case 4th and 2, you can bet that you're going to get QB counter read. Now in this case, the Ravens are kind of running this in the typical manner, meaning they're pulling the lineman, the left guard and the left tackle, to the right. So that's where I have labeled it direction right there. I'm talking about the direction that the linemen are pulling. This is normally a keep read for Lamar. In this case, against the Vikings, this DN kind of steps down a little bit, so it's a give. So we know that there are times where he's reading it, and I totally disagree with certain people's contention that Lamar does not read the option well. I think he reads it incredibly well. This linebacker, Kendricks, almost makes a great play, and Freeman is able to escape him barely, and then gain some more yards, to pick up the first down. Staple play in Greg Roman's offense since, really 2019 in some cases. But you can see what he's reading there. He's reading the D end. That D end, what some teams will do in this video, they will run the D end opposite the running back. They will run him upfield, which forces Lamar to keep it, and then they'll try to take this linebacker and fold him over the top. Or they will, like the Colts do, they will run him down the line of scrimmage from behind because there's no one to block him. And you'll see the Colts do that with Leonard, and he makes a great play on it. So a different formation, I actually really like this play because it goes against one of our tendencies, which is to run behind Ricard, who is set to Lamar's left. You can see Ricard is opening to the left while the linemen are pulling opposite. So what they're doing is they're pulling this D end for the back, and then this linebacker, which I think is Barr, is going with Ricard. So they're just trying to subtract people from the box that you have to deal with. And you can say, well, it's 2 for 2, coach. We're not gaining anything. That's not true. We're pulling the left guard and left tackle. So we're gaining a kick out block here. And then the pulling tackle, which in this case is Villanueva. I think he does a nice job on this one, on Kendricks. Yeah, he gets a pancake. We'll watch it from the beginning. Staple play on third and short, 4th and short in some cases. But there was times where the Ravens went to the well way too often with this concept, and we're not diverse enough in those situations. You got some real tendencies. The cool thing is, like I said, the back is on the same side as the tight end. So I call it a gun. And then Ricard is on the other side. So we're playing against that tendency here. Against the Vikings. Later on in this video, you'll see how some other teams defended it. They did not defend it well at all. It's a difficult concept to deal with. Okay, so now you have B gun. So you have Ricard still on the right, or the tight end. In this case, it's 20 personnel, I think. All on the right, 21 actually. Sorry, there's Andrews. But they don't want to run behind Andrews. They don't want to put Andrews here and necessarily have him lead block. When they have Andrews on the side of the run, they're going to widen him up some. Now the back is on the opposite side. So the read is going to be with Duvernay now. So they're still getting 2. They're trying to get 2 out of here. So they're getting the running back out of here and Duvernay in motion. So they're trying to hold this D end and this inside backer. So there's basically just trading 2 for 2, but we're gaining the guard and the tackle again. So the idea is part of it is just math, guys. Part of it is really just math. But it's a great play by Kendricks this time. 54. 54 right here. Just a fantastic play. I think he dodges Villanueva, fights him off right here, and then still is able to make the tackle on, one of the best 5 athletes in the NFL. It's a ridiculous play by Kendricks. In my data set, you can see the gain all the way over to the right. So you can see there's some explosive plays here. The 31-yard gain is going to be Freeman's first carry of the year against the Chiefs. But you can see that it's not like there's a ton of explosive plays out of it. You're just getting some small consistent gains when you need it. 3rd and 2 up here, 21 personnel. Back is on the same side as Ricard. Now the tight end is on the other side, but Ricard is serving as a tight end. So I call the formation twin slot. And it's the same play to the right where we generally run it. So the back is going to the left, and the left guard and left tackle are pulling to the right. So that's why I have this labeled as direction right for QB counter read. Everybody else calls it bash. I've just been coaching so long that I knew it as QB counter read before everybody started calling it bash. So I'm going to call stuff by the names that I know from old school days. So there is Freeman crossing face. Theoretically, Lamar's reading this guy who's really widened up. So this is an easy read. We could give the football. I mean, really, we could give the football in some of these cases. If we're going to go ahead and block the guy that is being, quote, read, I mean, we could give the football, and then we could read this guy if we're going to block that edge player. But in any case, 6 or 7 yard gain for Lamar. Still a lot of physicality. Not necessarily sure that you want your quarterback taking a ton of hits, like that. All right, so now it's the opposite. It's still jokers. But you've got the tight end over here, and the running back, the tailback on the left, and now Ricard is over to the right. Right guard and right tackle are pulling to the left, and then the handoff goes to Freeman to the right. This was a big play. 1st and 10, first time that Freeman touched the football. Chiefs knew something was up. They bring a stunt from this side. They roll this safety up. It doesn't matter. We end up hitting the cutback right in between all those guys, which you'll see from the end zone angle. I've talked about this play in at least a couple of videos. I just would like to do some videos on concepts that the Ravens run and see how people defend it, so if we can glean any patterns, not necessarily in the play calling of the Ravens, because we know that they're tendency based. We know they're formation and situationally based. We know that. We need to accept it, as reality. Wondering what other teams do to try to take away those concepts. You can see that this linebacker right here, is supposed to be a scrape exchange between 56 slamming down, and he should be scraping over the top, just a gap exchange, and he's just too tight. He's too tight because they got this guy off the edge, the force player. Okay, fine. Ricard's blocking him. This is the guy who should be a little bit wider, trying to force Freeman to cut it back and then hopefully make the tackle. So good stunt by the Chiefs. I get it. I understand what they're trying to do, at least. Let me put it that way. I'm not sure it was a good stunt, but at least I know what they were trying to do. They just didn't execute it well. Ricard on the right, same side as the back. So A-gun, QB counter read on 3rd and 4 against the Broncos. And Lamar gets flipped. Like I said, yes, is it a virtually unstoppable play, in certain situations? Yes, it can be. But do you want your quarterback taking this many hits? I'm not sure you do. Look at this safety flying up. This safety right here is flying up. I forget his name. Young guy. Pretty big guy for a safety, if I remember correct. Great block by Duvernay. Duvernay's going to come down and pin him inside as he's reading it. Awesome read by the safety. Awesome block by Duvernay. And then we're able to get the lineman up in the hole, and the corner is able to hit Lamar and flip him. Spin him, I should say. Spin him. Here's the safety that's going to fly up, and you'll see Duvernay come off screen, make the block somewhere in that area. Corner fills inside. Nice play all the way around. I don't know about you, but I don't really want Lamar taking those hits more than he has to. especially once we got Dobbins and Edwards back, and those guys can take the hits on 3rd and 4 if we want to run the ball in that situation. All right, empty. So accomplishing the same thing now with the guy in motion. And, we have handed this ball off to him before. I'm just generally showing you the ones where we either kept it or, the defense did something spectacular like this. So one thing that they are doing, and this is brilliant, brilliant stuff by the Colts, is on this motion, they're going to run this D end upfield. So what they're doing is they're giving Lamar what's called a keep read, meaning keep the football, because he's reading this D end here coming upfield. He knows if I give the football to Duvernay, he's going to get smacked in the mouth by a 275-pound D end who's fired up. His coaches told him to play because they know to play. So they're running him upfield. But then simultaneous to that, what they've done since we're in empty is they've widened up Leonard. And on the snap, he's going to run at this angle here because he knows that the left guard and left tackle are pulling. So what they're doing is they're attacking the read and the scheme. So they're manipulating the read, which you should do against option teams if you know options coming. They're manipulating the read. We're going to force you to keep it, Lamar. And then they're attacking the blocking scheme on the backside with Leonard. And it's a great play. And that's one of those things where the more predictable you can be, the more tendency-based you are. Leonard is off screen, by the way. He's somewhere over in here. But this is the DN that runs upfield to force the keep read. The more tendency-based you are, the more teams can do stuff like this. And so that's clearly one of the things that happened to the Ravens as the season, progressed. We were tendency-based because we were so limited personnel-wise in terms of our offensive line, and then especially when Lamar went out. Same concept. Back is on this side. You see the tight ends on the right, so I should have it labeled A-gun. I do. It's a flex formation, so two by two against the Colts. 4-yard gain by Lamar on the keep. Maybe a little more than 4. This time Leonard's on the other side. Leonard's not on the backside running from behind. So for whatever reason, the Colts didn't get to call that stunt this time. They didn't check into that. He's on the front side, and they wrong armed this kick out by the pulling guard. I like to see how teams try to defend stuff when they know it's coming, which in this case they should know it's coming. They kick out with Villanueva, and there's a pretty good seam there, if you ask me. We just lose this block with Andrews. Yeah. And the kick out block by Villanueva, Leonard spins off of it and makes a great play. Holy moly, that guy's good. Let you see it from the end zone angle. There he is taking on Villanueva. There's just no finish to Villanueva's block. There's an impact, don't get me wrong, but there's just no finish to it because Leonard just spins off of it and makes the tackle on our best player. That's a spectacular play. Looked like there was going to be opportunity for a seam. Some people say he should cut it back. All right, against the Chargers, who were obviously a little bit softer defense, than the Raiders. AFC West teams were interesting, man. Some of them, the Broncos defense was pretty good, don't get me wrong. Raiders caused some issues, but Chiefs and Chargers were soft, especially against the run. So a 5-yard gain by Lamar. A-gun, but we're doing it with the guy in motion and then the back leading. So we're faking the sweep. So we're holding this D end and we're taking this inside linebacker and he's running out of there. So again, trading 2 for 2 and then pulling the guard and the tackle and you get a 5-yard gain. Let's check out the end zone angle. So this guy should run out of there and he's going to go upfield with the back, who looks like he's leading for the sweep play to Duvernay. I do like how they used Duvernay. I think he could have been used more in that role. Try to get him the ball, let him get 6 or 8 yards, by beating people out in space. Let's see where we are in our data set. Twin slot. So this should be the last one, I believe. Yeah, this is the last one. Let me know what you guys think of a concept video like this. There's other concepts that I can use for the Ravens offense and or their defense to show things that they do and how people defend it. It's an old concept that the Ravens have used, to be honest with you. If you guys haven't had a chance yet to check out my Teespring, I set it up a couple nights ago. Has some merchandise on there. Give me some feedback on the colors that are available. My wife says I need to put more colors there, and the prices that are there. My first time setting one of these up. It's been fun to see some people purchasing things. I would love to see you support the channel either on Teespring or my Patreon. But if not, just continue watching the videos and like, comment, and subscribe. Last play here, twin slot formation. I call twin slot. Just think you haven't heard me talk about it probably a ton. Twin slot means there's a number one receiver and a number two receiver. That's the twin. And then slot means there's an X up here and there's a slot who's off the line. Typically that's the Y. That's the tight end out of 11 personnel. So this time we're strong left, and the back is on this side. So we're going to go opposite here. I think the right guard and right tackle is going to pull, and we're running it up to the other side on 3rd and 6. You say 3rd and 6, we're running the football. Yeah, I mean, I'm not advocating that we should do that all the time. It looks like maybe that was a 9-yard gain, a little longer than 8. But these things are certainly available to us, especially when people give us a light box. Now, they're in a 4-2 box, so it's not necessarily a light box against 11 personnel. That's typical. And then Derwin James is rolled up over here on the same side as Ricard. So they don't really have a 7-man front. I mean, until, Derwin James post-snap, he walks up in the box. But we're getting one of these inside backers running out of here. This guy right here running out of there, creating the space for Lamar. So he's just reading the back. When the back crosses face, when you get people that are in man on 3rd down, which is what this looks like to me, this linebacker is on the running back. Watch what happens when he crosses face. This linebacker's gone. So they've subtracted a guy from the box. And when Lamar does cut it upfield, there's one less guy there to deal with. You know what I mean? We've created some open space because of the coverage they're playing. So I don't have the coverage labeled for this, but it looks like man free to me, based on what I'm seeing here. Man with Derwin James, man. Free safety's free. So taking advantage of the coverage, that's a great thing, right? If you think you know the coverage in a certain situation, you can run this play and get somebody to run out of there and open up some space in the box. You don't have to use motion to get someone to clear out of there. So we're talking about this guy here, manned on Bell, James, manned on Ricard. Ricard goes and gets Derwin James. That linebacker's run himself out of there. And we've got a pretty good football play, even though Bosa almost makes the play. You guys let me know what you think of the concept video. It's fun for me to do, to be able to look at it. You can see the data. Again, that top one is mislabeled. That was not 2nd and 2. That was 4th and 2. Not a ton of explosive plays, as I mentioned earlier. It's a situation where I think the Ravens need to be more diverse in that 3rd and 2 to 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. 3rd and 6 is a stretch. It worked on that last play, but it's not going to work consistently at that length, that distance. But I'd like to see the Ravens be a little bit more diverse in terms of what they run when the back and the Y is on the same side in those situations. Run some other stuff. Certainly we've ran sprint out before. We've ran that. They ran a little zone lead play back to the other side where the Y goes in short motion right before the ball is snapped, as usually Ricard, and who knows if Ricard will even be there next year. But they got to get a little more diverse in those situations, if you ask me, to keep people honest and develop that passing game a little more in those 3rd down situations, which could then open up their run concepts even more when they choose to use them. Let me know what you guys think of these concept videos. If you're interested in seeing more of them, have the database going. And I'd say at this point probably have 40 to 50 maybe % of all Ravens possessions labeled with data in the database to be able to sort like this. So you can see I have sorted it by concept, QB counter read or bash. So I have the ability to do some more stuff like this. If you have a concept that you're aware of for the Ravens that you'd like to see me cover in this level of detail and depth, just let me know. Appreciate you guys checking out the video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to help push the growth of the channel.